Hey, good morning, everybody. We're ready to start. If you could all mute your phones to where everybody won't hear the background. We're actually going to record training as we go, to where anyone who misses it can actually watch it after the training. We'll get that sent out to everybody. If you'll shoot me an email on who wants the training copy, then that way I can make it everyone. The first thing we're actually going to show y'all is a video of the biometric system that will be sent out to you. We are actually sending time clocks out today, so you will be receiving them at the facilities on Monday. Once you receive them, we're asking that you put them in the office with who's going to be in charge of enrolling them at the time, because we don't necessarily want them on the wall to where the employees can clock in and out and mess with them, because it will actually take their punches. You can start enrolling them. That way it gives you 2 full weeks to get everybody enrolled, because I know some employees, it's kind of hard to catch them within a few days. And once everybody's enrolled in your clock, just hang tight to it, and we'll get them put on the clocks probably on the 17th. That way when everybody starts coming in on the 18th, they'll be able to clock on the new clocks. Can y'all see a screen on your screen now that says play again or go to library? Now can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This is going to be the video that I'm showing y'all. I'm going to be quiet for a minute and let you see this, okay? This video demonstrates how to properly enroll an employee for biometrics at an InTouch terminal. Depending on the InTouch setup, you can use a supervisor badge, or you can have a manager license, your employee badge number. In our case, our manager is entering his badge login password. The manager mode programmed to allow the manager to enroll and usage. Tap enter. The person is not a home employee. The employee information has not yet been downloaded. If the InTouch accepts the ID and the employee is already enrolled, employee, or tap no to return to the manager mode screen. If the InTouch accepts already enrolled, you will be prompted primary finger. For best result, index finger, avoid fingers. In our case, finger, so tap the second square on the right hand. Now, without touching the sensor, this is important, static discharge. Once the ridge is lined up with the joint, drop the finger on the sensor and hold it on the sensor with firm pressure, but not a button. Try the enrollment. If the enrollment was fair, you'll be given the choice to accept the best result of multiple attempts, select another finger, or retry the same finger. It is recommended selecting accept best will register the highest scoring attempt. If the enrollment after the third pouring to accept best, but be aware that if you are performing a biometric identification enrollment, that accepting a poor enrollment will require every time they use the terminal. Touch will need to verify the captured enrollment and will present the enrollment screen again. Ask the employee to place the same finger that was just enrolled on the enrollment. Vacation results in a warning and options for a retry. After a successful enrollment of the primary finger, tap yes or no. It is recommended in the event the primary finger is damaged and cannot be used to match the template captured during enrollment. Since you have already enrolled the right index finger, employees slide the chosen finger forward or finger down on the sensor. However, this time your employee did not drop her finger in the center of the sensor. Let's see how the InTouch. The finger core needs to move down and to the right. Using the feedback on the screen, retry the enrollment and reposition the finger. Time the enrollment was good with this secondary finger. This employee is now successfully enrolled. If you have another employee to enroll, tap yes or delete captured biometric templates after the next scheduled device update.
Okay, y'all, we have went on here and played around with the time clocks before we actually sent them out to you, just to let y'all know. As of now, they look like they work much better than the other time clocks. The fingerprint scan takes a lot better than the ones they do now. This system's not as sensitive as the other ones, such as if they have lotion on their hands or if they need to wash their hands or dry their hands. It's not as sensitive as the last ones where you can actually scan a lot easier on these. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is pull up a training slide. This here, me and Ash actually went to the time clocks and took some screenshots of each screen that it will give you access to as you're going through the time clocks after you enroll an employee. They have quite a few more options on the clocks now than what they had on the old clock, so it'll take a little bit of time getting used to, and even the managers will have access to a little more on this one than they did on the last one. Okay, the first screen that they'll see when they come up is the main screen as far as clocking in. They can clock in, out, they can view time off requests, they can view their punches, they can view their PTO balance, they can request time off from the time clock, they can view time cards from the time clock. On this screen, you will see that there is a manager login. The only people that will have that is when we give you access to be a manager to enroll employees. If you have not sent me that list yet, please send me the list of your facility on who you want to be able to enroll them. You'll also see that there's 2 arrows on each side of this screen. That's due to there's some more options, and when you hit that arrow, you'll actually be able to see the other one. And this is the next screen that they'll see if they arrow over. They can see the request time off sheet change. So say that someone gets to the time clock and they realize that they didn't punch in. They can actually do a request time sheet change, and that will go to the manager instead of them having to fill out an actual paper form. Okay, this screen here is actually only if you mash the managing clock button here. This screen will come up. You won't use the maintenance mode here. That will be for our IT only. The clean screen, I'll show in a few minutes, where that right there just kind of times everything out to where when you're cleaning the screen, it doesn't hit anything else. And then biometric enrollment. This here is actually the video I just showed you. So if you ever get to the clock and you're like, what do I do next? You can hit that little button down there at the bottom left and click here, and it will actually give you the video that I just showed you on how to enroll an employee. The InTouch biometric video and cleaning the screen. The button that I was just telling you about cleaning, if you mash that button, it's actually going to give you this screen here. It gives you 30 seconds to wipe the screen before it actually starts going to different screens. This is what the InTouch biometric enrollment tutorial will actually look like that I just showed you whenever you click on it. The employee ID screen, this is the screen that's going to pop up if they click any button on the time clock. It's going to ask them for their employee ID. So they will need to know their actual number ID also for these clocks. They'll be asked after that, they'll ask for the biometric verification. That's when they'll actually take their finger and put on the top of the screen and give the biometric. They have to use both of those to be able to see anything on the time clock and to punch in and out. On the view punch little soft key that I was saying earlier that they'll have, if they click that, this is the screen that will come up, and it actually tells them their total number of hours worked on each day. If they click the request time off tab, this is the screen that will pop up. They will be prompted to tell you what kind of request time off they want. Bereavement, jury duty, personal, seminar, or unpaid. Once they click to tell you which one they want, it will pop up another screen that asks them if it is a full day, a partial day bulk hours, or multiple days. The partial day bulk hours is if they're only taking like 4 hours that day, 2 hours that day. They'll make this selection here, and it will pull up this screen here, which will ask them what date they're requesting that on. Once they select the date, it will prompt them to put in how many hours that they're wanting for that day. Then it will go to the screen that tells them the date that they requested, how many hours, and they can even put a comment on there. Once they do that, they would hit submit, and the request time off would actually go to the manager within the system. And then the manager will actually have like a little to-do item that pops up, and they can approve it or deny it, and if they deny it, it'll send it back. View time off request, if they've already requested time off and they're just wanting to see what they've requested so far, they can go to this screen and it will actually tell them the day and what kind of request it is. And if they hit the little down arrow, it will actually go into more detail and tell them how many hours that they're requesting on that day. And viewing a time card, if they click on that little soft key, it will actually ask them to put the from and to dates that they're actually wanting to view. Once they get the dates inputted there, it will pop up here and tell them what they've selected, and they will need to hit submit. Once they hit submit on that screen, they'll actually be able to view their time. This screen here, the first one, is just showing you how many hours is on that day. If you click the blue button to the side as the little drop-down arrow, it will actually tell them exactly what punches are on that day, what their in and out punches for that whole day. And if they go here and see that something's missing, that's when they could actually do a time off request for you on the time clock. The timesheet change, if they go there to request a timesheet change, it's going to ask them if they want to add a punch in, modify a punch in, or modify a punch out. Once they input that, it's going to pull up the screen to show them what all punches they actually have in the system, and they'll select whichever one of these they need to get changed, and then it will go to the next screen for them. This screen here will actually ask them what time they need it changed to and what the comment is. Okay, if they got there that morning and for some reason the time clock was down, and when they needed to do that adjustment, they put what time they actually really got there, and they put the time clock that the time clock was updating or the time clock was down. And then once they actually submit that request, it will show them here. They'll hit submit and it will tell them it went to you. That will go to the manager for approval or denial. And then there is one button as far as change call centers go. There will be a very limited number of people that will have this access. To be able to get here, you will actually have to put in your employee ID, your fingerprint, and you'll have a PIN that we release to you to be able to do your change of call centers. This would be more for PBJ purposes. So if you're not normally dealing with PBJ, you will not use this button on the screen. Okay, that's all the ones we wanted to show you there. Now, if you do go to the manager login, if you are a manager that enrolls employees, you will click on the manager button. It will ask you for your employee ID and your biometric fingerprint. You will do that, and then it'll pop up a screen, and you have the options there to enroll and unenroll employees. So whenever you get the clocks and you're needing to start enrolling, this manager login button is the one that you're going to want to use. Once you get in there, it'll tell you to enroll, and then it'll look exactly like the video look that I showed you earlier. The next thing that I want to show you is I sent a few things out yesterday that had your usernames and IDs on there that gave you access to Kronos as far as training goes. The training that we opened up to you is actually your employee login. Everybody will actually get a login for Kronos that you can actually go in, check your time cards, check your PTO balances, and do a few things extra on here that we didn't actually have access to as far as ISOF goes. So once you get logged into Kronos, you won't have all of these options, but you'll actually have this employee section here, which is telling you basically on here it's reading, and then there's actually a few videos that you can actually do too. If it's the little eyeball, that's actually reading material for you. If it looks like two papers there, it's actually a video that you can go in and watch. I'm not saying that you'll have every option on here that you can do training on, but the majority of these you will have access to. You will actually have access to print your own pay stubs now. You'll actually be able to view your pay stubs on here. There's a few reports that you'll have access to, and this will be for the employees. Then if you actually have the manager access that we're going to give everybody, this is the training for like the manager access. If you are in charge of approving someone's time off, if you're in charge of looking at someone's time cards and everything, this is a really good training for you to do here, because all the managers will actually be approving and denying the actual time off requests and stuff from the screen here once you actually get access. That's all the things we're going to show you today. There will be more training to come that goes more in depth, but is there any questions now that we can answer for y'all from what you've seen today? No questions today?
I got a question.
Okay.
Okay, so they're going to send it to this system for the manager to approve.
Yes, ma'am. You mean when they request off the clock?
Yeah, and it goes to the supervisor for approval. How, what if that nursing supervisor is not one? If it's, say if it was a DON, we had a nurse working, that DON's not here on that shift, and we need somebody to approve that timesheet. Does that make sense? They got to go to that person now to do it? Do you understand what I'm saying?
If it's like a time clock.
How do we know they work? Yeah. How do we really know if they work them hours?
It would be the same way how they do time clock adjustment sheets now that are paper.
Okay.
Except it will be paperless now.
Okay.
So you would still need to check their schedule and everything the way that you do now. And then once you figure out, yes, this person did work these hours, then you can do the time clock adjustment. Then you have the option of denying it. If you see, hey, this person really wasn't here that day, they didn't work these hours, you have the option to deny it.
Okay.
Just like it turned in a paper sheet to you.
Okay. Gotcha.
Any other questions? We do see when we're actually on here working, as far as the time clocks and the actual Kronos system, they are working much better than the iSaw system. I think y'all will be very impressed, because we've actually had to go into the Kronos system and punch a few things in on employees. You click it, it pops up. It doesn't just sit there and spin on you forever. I'll share this.
And you said every employee will have their own ID.
They
can look at their own.
They will be able to get to the time clock, and we're working on getting them access to the actual Kronos system. That way they will be able to view their own pay stubs. They'll be able to view like their phone number, their address, and things like that they will be able to access and see to make sure it is up to date, because we have quite a few employees that we've been having to update their address and stuff because their W-2s got kicked back to us. So they'll actually have access to go in there and be able to change things like that. And they'll even be able to, some of the employees will be able to request time off from there, and it will just do the workflow like it normally does.
Okay. And if someone gets turned, we just go in there and unenroll them from that time off, right?
If they're terminated out of the system?
Yes. Do we have to go in there and unenroll them, or do y'all do that there?
The HR will actually be doing some training on the new hire and termination part of it. And whenever they're terminated, it'll actually go through a process of telling us who needs to be kicked out of the system, things like that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Tiffany.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, really, this is Joyce. Really, all it is we just going to paperless and not using paper, and everything is kind of like the same.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Okay. All right.
And you'll actually have a button on your screen that will get logged in. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
You see where I'm hovering over this little bell right here? Little bell at the top right. If you have any to-do items, like someone requests a time off or need a time clock adjustment or anything, this little bell is considered your to-do items, and it will pop up numbers that are telling how many you have to do. And once we go live and we start setting the system up, your home screen, let me get to the home screen. The home screen right here will actually have your to-do items on here too. So when you log in, it will tell you Joyce Magruder asked for personal leave 8 hours here, and you'll click on it, and that's where the manager will be able to approve and deny and things like that. Now, once the manager actually approves it or denies it, it goes straight into the time system. So, Ms. Joyce, you wouldn't actually see the personal leaves and stuff because the manager, once they approve it, it'll shoot into the system. So you wouldn't actually have to manually input those unless somebody on there and do it themselves. You would still need to be able to go in and everybody's doing all of their.
About employees that.
Okay, alarm going off. Just a minute.
Tiffany, this is Darren. Just tell them to go to the phone on the, instead of the computer audio, go to phone call, and they can turn that off. I had the same problem.
Okay, thank you, Darren.
No problem. Hey, listen, for our employees who don't use the time clock, we're still going to use paper.
As far as the ones that will have computer access that actually use the computers now? Darren?
Okay. Yes.
Do you mean the ones that don't use the time clock and actually use computers?
Right, our salaried employees, yes.
They will actually have a computer access also. But like salary employees, they won't have to use the time clock at all, but they will still have access to the actual Kronos system. That way they can still see like their pay stubs and things like that.
Okay, so that will be the standard. That's good. Okay.
Tiffany, I have a question.
Okay.
It's Kaylee. Hey, I just wanted to know, as far as the supervisors and managers, is it going to be like an ISOL, like me, Maria, and Joyce are the managers, but everyone else is the supervisors? Is it going to send me, Maria, and Joyce the time off request, or is it going to go to the supervisors instead of managers?
Will actually go to the manager and supervisor because you won't actually have the paper for them to sign anymore. They'll actually approve it in the system.
Okay, so the supervisor will approve it in the system.
Yes, ma'am. And then it will actually go right into their time card. But we'll still need you, Miss Joyce and Maria, to still look over time cards. If you see something that needs a time clock adjustment, when we get into that part of the training, you will actually have access to go in and do adjustments and stuff still. You'll still view the cards and stuff, but we're hoping that the employees are grasp onto this and that they'll be able to do some of their own requests in the adjustments. And then if the manager approves it, it will just go straight into their time card.
Awesome. Okay.
And you won't sit there all day punching manual punches on people.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Okay, if y'all have any questions after the call, feel free to email me and Ashley or give us a call. We'll be happy to answer any for y'all. And as we go forward, it's kind of crunch time now. Clocks will be up on the 18th for live punches. And during that time, you'll probably hear a lot from us showing you some new things on the system and things like that. And hopefully we'll have it all out and enrolled and everybody a grasp onto it, and it'll be much better than I thought.
Hey, good job, Tiffany.
Okay, thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. You're welcome.